What's up, guys? Chris Basil Builds here. On today's episode of What Does a $350 Car Look Like? Here we are. So this car, as most of the ones that it seems like lately I've been buying have been from friends that have had for a long time. I will say that I did just wash this car, so it looks a little better than it did when I got it. It does still have a lot of paint issues. It's got this black ozone kind of stuff all over it, and it's covered in hail damage, so I mean, it's not going to look good no matter what you do. It does present okay on camera. I mean, obviously you guys can see the hail damage, but all in all, I mean, and I'll be fair, I did start on the good side, although it's not really very good. It looks good probably to you, but it does not look good to me. There's dents all over the door. This door's been scraped and it's all pop canned. And back here we've got some bubbly window tint, nothing too bad. But then we've got some pretty bad damage here. I was told this was a fender bender. I was like, yeah, no, this would total the car really, but you know, $350 car. We gonna complain? Not really. I think I can maybe get through the headlight or the tail light there and push some of this out. At least get the wrinkle out a little bit and get it to where the bumper will fit back on right. It looks like this clip rail is missing. Well, I mean, there's definitely something going on there. This side's not too bad other than that. A lot less door dings. I mean, we got some failed clear coat. We got some loose handles. Interior is dirty but complete. It does have the rubber Mazda floor mats. It's got the cool Mazda racy seatsy looking seats. It's got this Chinese radio that's pretty cool. It's kind of like fake Apple CarPlay, something kind of going on. Pretty neat. Back's not too bad. I mean, it's dirty. I haven't cleaned the inside yet. This is I just picked it up last night, so I haven't had a chance to really do anything to it. So the story I was told, car was being loaned out to a friend, and the friend said the car started making some noise. So he said, okay, park it, we'll come look at it. Also, I've got a couple of the engine panels, the original radio. We had a little snafu picking it up yesterday. It started when I went to go look at it, but then when I went to go pick it up, it didn't. So I took a bunch of stuff off so I could tap on the starter and get it to start. The battery was kind of dead, and I think it just kind of pissed the starter off. So anyways, I don't know much about these cars. I'll be honest. I couldn't even tell you like what trim model it is. Normally it would have some covers over here, so it would look a little tidier. The car has 189,000 miles on it, so I mean, not low, but not super high. I have all these covers. That's the stuff you were just looking at in the back. The problem is, well, I didn't discover this until this morning. The oil hasn't been changed on this car since 2019, and I'm filming this video in September of 2023. So it just never got the oil changed for 5 years, and it eventually got so low it spun a bearing. So she's a knocker. I have determined that there's quite a few of these cars around in salvages, so as long as I can find one that's like wrecked, I can probably get a cheap motor. And it looks like it's not too bad to pull this motor. I don't know. I've never worked on one of these cars before, never really tinkered with one before. As far as I'm seeing on the internet, looks like I just need to take the battery box, air box, stuff out, drape all the wiring off to the side, and then pull motor and trans together out the top, I think is the route I'm gonna go. I don't have a real good way to lift it up high enough to drop it out the bottom. It's probably easier to do it out the bottom, but anywho, that's the deal. So, running, driving car presents, I mean, I'm gonna call it a 5 out of 10 just because I'm picky and I tinker with cars all the time. So like, this thing to me is not in very good shape, but in comparison to some of the recent vehicles we've gotten that have been a little older, or like with scarred titles or whatever, this one's probably a little bit easier retail sale than you know, a rebuilt title car with 200,000+ miles on it like the Impala was. But it's funny because like on the Impala video I said $400 auction car. Well, that car actually cost $700 because it was $400 hammer price plus fees, all that, and ended up being $700. And then I spent $300 fixing it, $400 fixing it, something like that. Sold it for $3,000. Well, this car, $350. And I went and picked it up myself. The old B&R, you guys watch that. Cheap car hauler video, great trailer, does good. And luckily was able to drive it on and off the trailer and drive it to where it's sitting. It starts and runs and moves just fine. It's just got a pretty good knock to it. I put a couple quarts of oil in it so it's at least on the stick. But I mean, that's obviously not going to fix the damage that's been done. So this is what you can find sometimes. And I don't think that's typically I think a car like this is probably going to be like $1,000 in this condition, and then not really worth fixing. I can't spend that kind of money on a car I'm going to rebuild because I'm going to have so much time in replacing the engine. I'm going to have a day at the salvage pulling one, a day or two here pulling this one, putting the new one in, ancillary stuff, belts, seals, whatever. It's going to take me some time to do this. Although I'm going to do it at the absolute lowest budget I can, it's still going to, excuse me, take some time. So just want to do a little intro video on the Mazda 3. I've always kind of liked these cars, particularly the hatchbacks. I think they're pretty neat. It's a pretty good looking car, really. Super modern for their time. I mean, this thing's this one is an 06. It's not that old, but when these cars came out, they were like super futuristic-y looking. And I really have no experience with Mazdas. I always called them Japanese Fords. I don't know if that's true or not. I think that at some point they were like parent company owned by Ford or something like that. Don't quote me. But definitely a neat little car. And I think this one could fill some gaps. Now, it is a 5-speed, which, you know, some people like. I don't care one way or another. I mean, obviously I can drive a stick, but these days selling a standard is a little tricky because I mean there's the people that prefer it, and then there's also people that can't drive them. So the issue you run into trying to sell something like this is that like not everybody knows how to drive a stick shift. I mean, any of you car guys watching the video are like, everybody knows how to drive a stick shift. Truthfully, a lot of people don't nowadays. So something to keep in mind when you're buying cars like this. I figure for what it costs and what it's going to be, if anything, I'll drive the car for a while. I say that about every one of them. I always get something little economy car like this and I say, well, I'll just drive it for a while. And then, you know, those are the ones that sell the quickest because everybody wants an economy car. At the time, we also have a 2002 Honda Civic that's in real good shape that I say I'd keep it too, but I mean, can't keep them all, guys. We got 7 cars here. That's too many cars for one person, 2 people. So just wanted to do a little intro walk around video of a 2006 Mazda 3 with a blown engine, and then maybe we'll film the engine replacement. See if I can like do a proper time lapse or something and make it where you guys can watch it. Maybe me and my buddy will film some of the engine removal at the salvage. I've never done that before, never filmed it at least, and maybe we can get something going with that. Learn a little bit about how to pull it there by hacking everything, and then come back here and get a better idea on how to put it in. I'd like to do this quickly as possible, but there is one hang up with this car, something that I should note. The reason I got it so cheap, my buddy didn't want to probably sell it this cheap, but when he bought the car, he paid for it outright at a dealer, at a Mazda dealer in town. And whenever they gave him the title, it came back with a lien on it because the car was like traded in, and presumably the other people that traded this car and bought something else probably toted a note. Well, when my friend bought the car, he paid for it outright, and so there was no financing, and so they didn't end up clearing the title. Well, he had the car for like 10 years, so it was never a problem until it was time to sell it. He called a salvage yard. They wouldn't even take it because it's got a lien on the title. Even though we know that there is no lien on it, it has been satisfied, being is that he's not the guy that had the loan on it. It gets real. If you guys have ever been in that situation before, no fun. No fun to deal with that. What I think I'm going to do, hopefully, he called the bank and supposedly he can send him the bill of sale and they'll send him a lien release. If that happens, I'll be in good shape. If that doesn't happen, I'm going to have to title section 42 it, which is going to take me a while, which stinks because I'd love to be able to put this car in service sooner than later. But if that is what happens, really not the end of the world. I'll go ahead and fix it anyways and then have it ready. So when the title's ready, it'll be on the road and ready to sell or drive or whatever. So that's the deal. There's always a story. They're never cheap unless there's a story. So yeah, lots of hail, knocky motor, pretty dirty interior, but I think it'll clean up pretty good. And I was kind of thinking this would be a fun car to practice some paintless tint repair on. I mean, there's nothing to lose. You can't hurt it. Maybe take the headliner down and see if I can buy some of those little pusher dealies and see if I can push some of these dents out. That'd be pretty fun. So maybe I'll give that a shot and see if I can kind of improve the look of this thing. Also to practice a little body work on this corner. I mean, this damage is honestly pretty bad, so I don't know really how good I can do with it. There's just a lot going on here. Just a lot going on here. And I did find an orange one at the salvage, so I might try to at least see if I can go get a better bumper that's not all messed up and get this one off and see how bad. I mean, I can see how bad it is. It's really just this crease. If we get this crease out, buff that, maybe a little touch up, might be able to do a little better with that. I don't know. That's kind of the fun thing with this stuff. You kind of learn. You learn with each one. You learn with each different thing you try. So that's what I like to do. But you know me, I like talking. So talk. 2 keys, title, Chinese radio. I am definitely going to add a backup camera to it when I have the bumper off, because that new radio's got a backup camera dealie on it. So that would be cool to have a backup camera, have nav, CarPlay, whatever. Might work good for Morgan for work. We're thinking about selling the Spark because she's not really a big fan of it. It's just a little too basic, I think. So maybe we can do a little bit of trading around. Honestly, she'd probably be better off in the Civic if I could just get a good stereo for it that's got navigation and stuff on it. That'd probably just be the move, put her in that. We don't have much in it. Sell the Spark, sell the Jeep, get some money in the bank, and then we can work on this, work on some other stuff. Also too, you guys know anybody wants a first generation 4Runner, let me know. It's for sale, cheap, Oklahoma. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. Feel free and like the video if you're interested. Subscribe to my channel. If you got any questions, email me at chrisbasilbuilds@gmail.com. And as always, appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Talk to you later.